You got questions going out of your mind. Someone with answers now that's hard to find. Like the what and the why and the how stuff works, or just where to go to avoid all the jerks. She's Gear Abby, Gear Abby, Gear Abby, advice that doesn't suck. Gear Abby.
Hello there, my outdoorsy friends, and welcome to Gear Abby, where we tackle the controversial, weird, obscure, and taboo topics that other outdoor podcasts refuse to touch. I'm Shawnté Salabert, an outdoor educator, writer, and former school social worker who's hiked, run, climbed, paddled, and adventured across the United States and beyond. And here on Gear Abby, I channel all that experience and more into answering your burning questions about our relationships with outdoor people, products, places, and pastimes. Because remember, my outdoor-loving pals, there are no dumb questions, just smart advice. So, you know how this works. You're going to send questions to myrockfight@gmail.com, and I'll pick my favorites to answer here on the show. And joining me today, as always, my favorite, number one, partner in gear, the producer of Gear Abby, the creator of the Rock Fight Podcast Network, and our official question slinger, Colin True.
Oh man, now I feel like I need like a WWE style, like some like fireworks going off, need my own theme song.
You need to start coming in with like a luchador mask.
Oh.
And like I want a whole personality actually, since this is my show, I can tell you what to do now.
Next time you like log on to the Zoom, I'm going to have that like shirtless with the mask on.
That's all I want.
Let's go!
Yes. So this is great. This is your assignment for next week. Listeners, your assignment is to come up with a great name for Colin.
Just got to pop down to Tijuana and like pick up one at a market or something.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, you're in San Diego. That's not far.
I probably don't have to go that far. I probably could just go like down to Old Town in San Diego.
I was going to say, you
find
can
one.
just go to Old Town.
Yeah, exactly.
You can go get some enchiladas and then get a mask. I actually found the best piñata I've ever found down there. It wasn't because of what the piñata was, but it just had a vibe. And I gave it to a friend, and she still talks about the piñata to this day.
That's amazing. Old Town does the perfect blend of, there's actually some really authentic, cool stuff there with the most amazing touristy crap you'll ever find anywhere else. So it's like, if you know where to go, there's some interesting things there.
Oh, absolutely. And then you got those weird Victorian houses right next door up on that hill.
Right?
Oh, I love it. I'm a sucker for weird stuff like that.
Me too.
Give me an Atlas Obscura like any day. That's all I
why
want.
you're Gear Abby.
That's why. It's because I love the Obscura. But I also love the mundane or the weird or the silly or the straightforward, anything. So lob any question my way. And Colin, speaking of questions, you ready to kick this off today?
Oh, I'm ready. This is a good one. First one's good.
Born ready.
Okay. First question today. Dear Gear Abby, I'm kind of obsessed with the idea of thru hiking, but right now I'm just in the dreaming phase. If you were going to start backpacking by thru hiking one of the big Triple Crown hikes, the Appalachian Trail, you taught me how to say that.
I see you looking at me with a side eye when you say that. I also like that you almost called them the Triple Cow hikes, which would be exciting for me as a Wisconsinite.
I'm going to edit that out. But the
Triple Cow.
The Continental Divide Trail or the Pacific Crest Trail, which one would you choose and why? Not signed, not Cheryl Strayed.
Why do people always have to invoke Cheryl Strayed when Bill Bryson is right there?
Attention, Gear Abby listeners. This is your producer and partner in gear, Colin True speaking, and I wanted to let you know that sound you just heard, the one that sounded like this, that's your indication that there is a footnote available for you on the Gear Abby episode companion article over on rockfight.co. Go check it out to get even more from every episode of Gear Abby. Neither one of them finished their hikes, so it's kind of like you can pick one or the other, right?
I know. Cheryl just gets it all. She just gets dumped on. Like, Bill is right there, guys. Feel free. Even if, pick Nick Nolte if you don't want to pick Bill himself. Just dump on Nick Nolte, who played Bill in the awful, awful movie that Colin
No, it was Bob Redford.
Robert Redford. Whatever. Same person at this point. Anyways, all right. So, not Cheryl. Let me first start by saying that I would have never started backpacking with a 2,000 plus mile thru hike. That's not to say that people don't do it, because they absolutely do. And some of them even finish their hike, which is a small miracle. But a lot of them don't. And I'm saying this as somebody who's met a lot of them, people who didn't carry gear that worked for them, people who didn't prepare their bodies, people who didn't prepare their brains, people who ran out of money, and people who learned pretty quickly that they didn't even really like backpacking. Whoopsie. So, maybe start a little smaller. I'd recommend maybe take a shorter trip close to home. Maybe starting with a 1 or 2 night shakeout is what I like to call it, as somebody who's maybe backpacked before, covering a short enough distance in an area that you or maybe them know. Just go with something vaguely familiar and start small, like bite off little pieces. And you get to see how your gear works. You get a feel for what it's like to haul around a pack and see if you even enjoy this whole business of backpacking, because you know what? A lot of people really don't. And you don't want to find that out when you're deep in it and you've like quit your job and everything and given up your apartment and sold your dog. I mean, hopefully nobody's actually selling their dog, but you don't know. Some people's dreams
I'm sure it's
a little
happened.
too big. Goodbye, Bowser. I've got to hike. But so I'd say if you are committed to just raw dogging it, trial by fire style, out there, you could ease in with the Appalachian Trail. Thank you for attempting to say it correctly, Colin. Appreciate your effort.
I'm working on it.
I know. Keep working.
Considering that mountain range went through the state of my birth, you'd think I'd be better at it at this point, but
right. To be fair, I think I only learned the real pronunciation like 10 years ago, so I don't want to be on my soapbox, but it's a higher soapbox than yours.
I do feel like that is a pretty recent thing where we're like, no, it is Appalachian.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's true. Appalachian Trail. So now, before I get hate mail for suggesting this as the one to pick out of these three, whether or not, let's just say like whether or not a hike is quote easy rests in the eye and various muscle groups of the beholder. And I am certainly not calling the AT easy because it's not. But it does 3 things really, really well for beginners. Okay, so don't come for me. I mean, come if you want to. myrockfight@gmail.com. You know where to find me. But here's why I'd say this is the one I'd go for. So first of all, you cross a butt ton of roads and pass through a butt ton of towns. And yes, those are official measurements. And that gives you pretty much constant opportunity to bail, throw away your boots, pick up a much more reasonable hobby. Second, you are generally surrounded by a butt ton of people. And personally, that's my idea of living hell on a through hike, but it does mean that you have a lot of folks to possibly hike with, talk with, bounce ideas off of, and learn from. And they can maybe comfort you in those nights where you're questioning your sanity. And finally, while the entire trail is basically a walking roller coaster of just up and down, up and down, up and down, the AT does not have those 5-figure elevations of the PCT and the CDT that create altitude issues for hikers. So, I mean, its highest point is Clingman's Dome in the Smokies, and that's about 6,600 feet. By contrast, the PCT high point is Forester Pass, which is over 13,000 feet. So that's more than double. And the CDT's high point is a 14,000 foot peak, Gray's Peak. So as for me, though, if you're just asking me, like, if you were reborn tomorrow and wanted to start backpacking, which Triple Crown would you head for first? It's got to be the PCT. I mean, it's not just because I wrote a guidebook that I am contracted. It is. I mean, I am contractually how do you even say contractually obligated to update it?
It's like Appalachian.
It is. That's my Appalachian. Contractually. When are you ever actually saying contractually?
Right now, apparently.
Right now, only on this podcast.
Exactly.
Do you ever see words like that where you're like, this is the first time I've ever said this word out loud?
Oh, yeah.
I don't actually know how it's said.
Yeah, I've had to abandon words recording podcasts because I'm like, I just can't say this word today. And then the next day I could say it just fine,
Yeah, because you wrote it down and then you're like, oh no, I must now speak it into existence.
Yes.
Oh man, well, I mean, for me though, I have to say the PCT, yes, I have spent the most time on that trail of all the 3, but I love that it's like this grab bag of desert and forest and alpine. It's relatively remote for most of it. And I love that feeling of kind of being along the spine of the West Coast. I mean, it was just, Pacific Crest Trail does insinuate that you are on the crest, although you do spend a lot of time in lower lying areas. I love that it does not have the long road walks and grizzly bears that the CDT has. So sorry, CDT. I got to go full PCT on this. But I will say I've seen people start that trail having never backpacked before and give up within the first 100 miles. So choose your battles wisely. All right, Colin. So I feel like we started off strong today, a topic close to my heart. What do you have next?
The next question is, Dear Gear Abby, I have a confession. I pay to subscribe to Strava. My friends are over it, and I feel like kind of a loser. Is nobody using Strava anymore? Signed, Bike Loser.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, please send your confessions to me. I would love to hear them, even if they're weird.
Gear Abby is also a part-time priest.
Yeah, I've got my confessional booth over here. It looks a lot like my living room.
What is the Gear Abby equivalent of like 10 Hail Marys?
I shall not bury my TP. I shall not bury my cotton kills. I'll work on it. It's probably
You
going to be
just recite the leave no trace principles. There's 10 of them now, right? You said there was 7. There's 10 now,
I'm
right?
gonna make there's 18. It just depends on the day. 75.
Depends on your sin that you'll recommend the LNT principles you shall recite.
This is great. I'm really stepping into this new role. This new role as preacher / teacher. I will be your preacher, teacher. Please don't sue us, whoever has the publishing on that. All right.
George Michael, R.I.P.
Well, yeah, I know. He was so great. I loved him as a kid. Big fan.
Yeah.
All right. Well, dear bike loser, I also have a confession. And that confession is that I paid for Strava for a year. And all I got from it was a feeling that A, I was not doing as much as other people were. B, I was slower than other people were. And C, I was making it really easy for would-be stalkers to find me.
Were those feelings or were those accurate things that happened?
Those were all accurate things, Colin.
Including the stalkers?
No, not in that way. I get them in other ways.
Oh, good.
Maybe from this podcast, who knows?
I know.
Just kidding, Mom.
The Gear Abby Army is strong. They'll protect you.
Oh, that's right. GA Army. All right.
GA Army.
I don't like that because, no, we got to work on that. I don't like the Army connotation. We'll vibe with it. We'll figure it out. We've got time. So now I will say I do not pay for it anymore. I'm a total Strava freeloader now. And I get these constant pleas on the app to all caps, please come back and give us your money. We miss you. We love you. We will die without you. So often that I'm considering not using the damn thing at all anymore. But let me ask you this, bike loser. Colin just thumbs upped me, by the way. You can't see that because this is not a visual podcast, or at least it isn't yet. So Colin, you're not a Strava user anymore, right?
I paid for it and I deleted it. It's gone. I'm out.
So they're not going to be a sponsor of the podcast, it sounds like.
They are welcome to sponsor the podcast.
Bring us back into the fold, guys.
Win us over.
Us, sponsor you.
All of a sudden, Gear Abby changes her tune.
Love Strava. Big fan. Yeah, don't be a bike loser. Sign up for Strava. No, all right. Well, let me ask you this, bike loser. I think you're being a little hard on yourself with that name, but why do you use Strava and what do you get out of it? Because that's all that matters when you're trying to quantify paying for and or just using any particular app or a piece of gear. If you get giddy because you enjoy watching your annihilation of the leaderboards on your favorite local segment, get at it, bro. If you find it useful to have access to the full suite of data that's available to subscribers, keep forking over that cash. If you want to be able to create and follow your own routes in the app, give up that credit card info. But if you just want to use an app to track, general stats about your rides or connect with local riding groups or give and receive a lightly Pavlovian thumbs up for a job well done, score some small discounts from brands you probably aren't going to buy from anyways, or draw giant penises across your neighborhood thanks to the magic of GPS, the free app is absolutely fine.
That's the last one's the real reason.
Last one is the real reason. I'm going to work on this. This is my goal is by the end of 2025 to be able to
cat
draw
holes and digital dicks. Listen to Gear Abby.
Wow. This is my mom just turned it off right now.
Sorry, Mom.
She's probably laughing. She's laughing. All right. Ultimately, I think there's no one size fits all coolest app or piece of gear to rule them all. In the scheme of life, it's all just window dressing. So Strava, like anything else, is a bit of an illusion that adds that tiny digital cherry on top of the giant bowl of ice cream that is actually running or cycling or lifting or doing whatever it is that you're actually using the app to measure. So at the end of the day, buddy, bike loser, bike winner, as with most things, you do you. Like, trust me, nobody except for the account executives at Strava gives a shit if you Strava or not.
Yeah, I think all joking aside, the thing I used on Strava that I liked that made a case for paying for it was the finding local rides, especially when I was working a corporate job and I was traveling every single week and I'd end up in some hotel where I don't know where I am, and you find like the local route, something nearby to go for a quick run or something like that. That was really helpful. Yeah. But to your point, there's so many free options to track your mileage if you just want to know how far you went that it's like, I don't need to have the pressures of a social media platform in my fitness app, Yeah,
that's how I felt too. I mean, the year I used it, I think it was mostly useful for me when I was sort of getting deeper into trail running at the time, and I was preparing for a half and thinking about moving toward ultras. And I was like, all right, well, maybe this can help me learn a little bit more about myself. I'd been using a watch. I think I talked about this before on the show, but, I'd started using a watch. Now I have 3, like a weirdo, but, getting that sort of biofeedback was helpful for me. But I just realized at the end of the day, it wasn't contributing enough to my life. And they had raised the price. I mean, and this is the clincher.
Yeah.
They had raised the price considerably this past year. So if they had not raised the price as much as they did, I probably would have subscribed another year. So something to think about, Strava. All right, Colin. So one more question. Let's see if you stay in my camp fully, as you just said. Are we still camping together, Colin? Tell me now. What do you have for me?
I am always in Gear Abby's corner.
Aw, thanks, buddy.
All right, the last question of the day is, Dear Gear Abby, I love the idea of hiking in a skirt or even one of those hiking dresses, but I'm really worried about chafing since I know my thighs will rub. Is there anything I can do to prevent this, or is it inevitable? Signed, Thick Thighs Save Lives.
Woo-hoo! Oh, I love it. That is an A+ sign off.
Excellent.
A+. Please, people, when you send in your questions, sign off however you want. But if you could think of something like that, that's real fun. Colin loves it. I love it.
Definitely.
So, yeah. Well, you know what? I hike in running shorts these days, but I've backpacked over 1,000 miles, probably closer to 2,000 miles in a skirt, and I know all about friction on the thigh meat. So I'm here to help you, thick thighs. Because it's me, let's start with a little story time. You know me. So early on in my long distance backpacking love affair, girl genius that I was, I decided to get a bikini wax 2 days before leaving for several months on the PCT. Just think about that for a second. So I was also a pretty new skirt user back then. Add to the equation the fact that it was absolutely satanically hot when I started. And you will not be surprised to learn that within the first 48 hours, I had a whole bunch of red hot chafe on not just my inner thighs, but also inside my butt crack and along my bikini line.
Dear God.
Real good times, let me tell you. Wow.
Was the bikini wax tied to going on the PCT or just a coincidence?
Well, so my thought was, I'm going to get my bikini line waxed. So like if I decide to go skinny dipping or something, it will be like clean. Like, I don't know what I was thinking. Like no one's looking at my crotch out there. I didn't necessarily, I mean, I was
You just said you don't want anyone around you when you're going backpacking.
I did. But there's always, like, now I'm not single anymore. But when I was single, I would always be like, maybe I'll meet my person out here.
Maybe, yeah. Who knows who I'm going to come across at the swimming hole.
I got to make sure all my errant pubes are shorn.
Even though that's the one community that would probably not care at all about errant pubes, right?
My armpit hair was like down to my calves by the end of that hike. But
okay,
no,
that is an interesting. What is happening there? Like, why was one short okay and the other short not okay?
I have no idea. But I was very new to all of this. It was a weird time for me, Colin. I was doing a lot of learning.
Oh boy.
But yeah, I basically.
Right. Well, let's get back to your red hot chafe and your butt crack.
Ooh, who wouldn't want that?
This is an all-timer already.
Oh my God. Well, I basically had to spend a week hiking bow-legged and totally commando.
Oh my God.
Which was great for airflow, let it be known, but very bad for, I don't know, sitting cross-legged on the ground and eating lunch with other hikers. I just spent a week like uncomfortably sideways on my knees. It was bad.
Like, hey, you ever see Basic Instinct?
Do you want to be terrified on the trail? I got some nightmare fuel for you right here.
But the bikini line is so tight. Nice job.
Really, yeah, it looks angry around it, but great V you got going on there. Yeah. So what happened?
Oh my God.
Basically, I broke every cardinal rule of chafe avoidance. I ripped out a bunch of body hair in a sensitive area right before hiking in high temps when I knew I was going to sweat like a banshee. Coupled with the fact that I decided to just raw dog it and not pre-treat my skin in any areas that I knew would rub. I also think that's the second time I've said raw dog on today's
I was
episode.
just about to comment that's the second time.
I'm not sorry.
Yeah.
I am, but I'm not.
Trying to get the kids to listen here. You know, that's what the kids say
children,
these days.
Bring
I
your
think.
children to the table. They must learn to. Maybe we'll have to do a family-friendly episode once. Probably
I don't think that's in our capable.
No,
we're not capable.
We absolutely get the whatever the bad words rating is on the podcast.
The E is emblazoned in hot pink on our on this podcast.
Ah, yes. Well, anyway, truly a perfect recipe for chafing. That was what I served up on the trail. So, chafing, of course, is essentially the repeated friction of an area on any area of skin. You know, it could be thigh on thigh, boot on heel, waistband on waist, nipple on loose t-shirt, looking at you runners, or even, butt cheek on butt cheek violence. It does not discriminate. It's whatever's rubbing. It usually starts as a hot spot. The skin starts to get kind of pinkish, then reddish, kind of angry. But it can absolutely blossom into an open wound that won't just be painful.
Oh, yeah.
But you also run the risk of infection if your chafe turns into something more. So, you wanna be on top of this, especially if you're gonna start skirt hiking. So to basically, the best way to prevent this stuff is to create a barrier against your skin and the offending other. So if it's skin, if it's fabric, whatever. So under a skirt, you could try a fabric barrier. So bike shorts, or I've seen people do cut off nylons, although let it be known, those do tend to creep up. As long as it's form fitting, since baggy fabric can basically just create more friction on your tender bits. My weapon of choice, however, is topicals. So we'll get into them, but I got to know, Colin, do you have a favorite chafing prevention method?
Oh yeah, it's my daily driver as well as usually my active driver as well, which is merino wool.
Ah, okay. So you're going with the fabric route.
I also have thick thighs to our writer here, and am prone to some rubbing. Sometimes you don't know when it's going to strike.
Yeah, sometimes it just creeps up on you.
I did a 50-mile ultra marathon, and this was the last ultra I did, and I was pretty tuned in about what I should wear, how I was doing it, ran in everything that I trained in, and for whatever reason, it was just a little bit more humid that day. But by mile 25, I had just some incredible chafe between some dangly bits in my thighs, and it was at that point, it was every aid station. Where's the Vaseline?
Oh, buddy.
Because I didn't have a second pair. That was probably the mistake, is I should have had some dry or some different shorts in my kits at the aid station. But I do notice on the day-to-day, and if I do wear merino boxer briefs, it tends to kind of take care of everything, no matter what's going on. So
merino really is just the fabric of our lives.
Freaking rules.
Sorry, cotton.
Yeah, you're out of cotton. You're not the cotton.
You're out of here, you loser.
You're out of here. Yeah.
All right. Well, for me, I do love a topical, and I have ruled out anything powder-based.
What?
Because, I think
Gold Bond?
No, I think it's too messy. Anytime I have tried with powder, I just look like I sat into a pile of flour, and then it turns into this
true.
creepy little paste.
Okay,
when the
well,
sweat
that's
gets
gross.
mixed in.
I will, if I do get some chafe and then just a little baby powder after taking a shower or whatever, that does help. But I had a roommate once who always claimed Gold Bond powder was the best because it was like a menthol cigarette for your nuts.
I both love and hate that.
What's that? You don't hate that?
I don't. Yeah, I love it and I hate it is really what I'm thinking here.
I'm like, it was stuck with me. I'm like, that's hilarious.
I mean, I do. One of my guy friends will just stop at random to dump a bunch of powder into his shorts when we go backpacking.
That makes sense.
Chucks it in there in obscene quantities. Just piling it in there. I'm like,
you got to get it into the crevices.
I guess. All right. So thick thighs. If you want to go the powder route, listen to Colin, I guess. Creams have worked out a bit better for me. My favorite right now is, and I love the name of it, chamois butter, and that's butt_R. Hey.
Good branding.
My mom gifted me this gargantuan tube 5 years ago, and I thought I was going to become a mountain biker. It's probably expired by now, but it still works. So
it's fine.
I just slather it before I go on a run. I'll slather it on my inner thighs. Sometimes if it's really hot out, butt crack too. You just got a preventative. You just don't want a chafed butt crack. Let me just tell you, a chafed booty is awful. But if we're talking about larger body parts, or if I'm going on a backpacking trip and I don't want to bring messy stuff, I like Body Glide.
Body Glide's great.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
It kind of looks like a little stick of deodorant. You could get it in a large or small size. I take a small one when I travel, and it's hot outside. I'm going to New York this summer a couple times. I'm going to bring Body Glide, and it's great for wearing skirts in the hot weather. So, I mean, they sell, I'm sure you've seen this, they sell a women's version that is, of course, pink, that contains some extra emollients, but honestly, it just feels like bullshit.
Yeah. Just make the same thing. Who gives a shit?
We don't need pink it and trinket when it comes to freaking chafing prevention. Yeah. So the regular formula works just fine for me. I carry a small one.
No, it doesn't. Trips. Actually, you don't know. It's not women specific, Shawnté. Okay? It can't work for you.
My lady thighs can't handle it.
It's just too much Body Glide.
Oh, it's
just gonna you're just gonna slip and fall until go sliding down a hill like a penguin on a glacier.
That's right. I can barely hike as it is. penguin on
My
a
delicate
glacier.
sensibilities as a woman.
Oh, I'm so offended by the blue
Jesus
body
Christ.
glide.
Just-
Can't use it.
Give me a break.
Love gendered body products.
Seriously, of all things.
Anyway, I got to put in a plug for one more product, Thick Thighs, and that is, chafing basically is also what causes blisters. So while we're talking about it, I carry on backpacking trips or long hikes, I'll carry a little jar of something called trail toes or a small tube of Aquaphor, and they're pretty much the same thing. So I'll just slather it on my feet before I start in the morning, and then I usually reapply in the afternoon. Sometimes I'll even change out my socks, kind of like what Colin was talking about. If you've been sweating through your fabrics, they're going to cause extra chafing. And honestly, it's cheaper than all of the specific foot stuff that's out there being marketed to you that you can get at a CVS. Like, just carry the Aquaphor. It's fine. I mean, Carmex, I've tried Carmex too, and it works. It's a similar concept. You got the petroleum
Did you
jelly
get
in
a Toyota, a Honda? What did you get from Carmex?
I got really stinky feet is what I got from Carmex.
I didn't know they sold those.
No, they absolutely, you smell like a
they
rotting
your feet?
corpse.
You're buying other people's feet?
Carmex.
Carmex.
Carmex. You smell like an absolute rotting corpse is taking
Sounds
taking
great.
root at your feet. It's
Guess
disgusting.
they're not going to sponsor the pod either.
Damn it. No, we're going for Aquaphor. Dream big, okay?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, down Carmex. I mean, it works. It's the same concept. Just it's like eating Mountain House. You know you're going to smell something at the end of the day. That may not be good. Anyway, here's the thing, Thick Thighs. Just wear the skirt. Wear it. Grease up before you start hiking. Reapply the second you feel any friction coming on, and I promise your thigh meat will thank you. It's absolutely worth it. Wear something that you enjoy hiking in, that you're going to feel comfortable in. Know that you have a lot of options. If you try one thing, it doesn't work, keep trying, and enjoy the airflow.
I honestly forgot that this question was about skirts. I thought it was about chafing and chafing.
It is. Well, it's how to prevent chafing when you're wearing a skirt. But I really felt like if I'm going to answer this, we can answer it for all potential chafings because it's inner thighs, booty, bikini line, whatever. I mean, if your nips are chafing, a lot of people get chafed nipples when they run and stuff.
Yeah.
So, all of this
Merino
can be
wool.
prevented with merino wool. Colin
No
is
chafing
a
with
shill.
merino wool. Just don't wear
That's what I'm-
cheap poly tees, then you will be fine.
Cotton, cotton kills.
Well, it's better on your nipples than poly. Even if it might kill you, but your nipples will feel great.
All right, Colin.
Yeah.
I know that you and I would both probably continue to want to talk about my chafed butt crack, but
I don't think so.
I think the people want us to move on. All right, final question.
Okay, final question for the third episode. Gear
third
Abby.
episode.
Third episode
Wow.
of Gear Abby.
You're
I'm jumping
already
ahead.
in the future, man.
I'm just going there. All right, here we go.
Future's bright.
Dear Gear Abby, I don't know if this will be relevant by the time you see this email, but I just saw that some guy had to go to court for cutting switchbacks in a national park. This seems sort of extreme if you ask me. What do you think? Signed, Bob. Just Bob.
Just Bob. I like
Bob.
that. Bob.
Bob.
Huh. Well, you know what? Lucky for you, Bob. Colin and I have nothing better to do than to wait for listener mail. So
Boring
honestly,
days around here, Bob.
This is all we desire in this life is listener mail. So thank you. Perfect timing, squeezing this one in under the wire.
Sorry I laughed at your name, Bob.
Yeah, rude. Right. Could be Bobbert, Bobby, Robert.
God, it'd be great to name your kid Bobbert. I would have so much respect for those parents.
Babbert. All right. So moving forward with Bob's real serious question. For anybody who has no idea what our dearest friend Bob is talking about, Bobbert. Over a year ago, professional trail runner Michelino Sunseri set a speed record on the Grand Teton, making the round trip 2 hours, 50 minutes, 8 seconds, shaving a mere 3 minutes off the previous record. Infinitely faster than I could ever do it. But turns out that on his descent, he used a popular use trail known as the Old Climbers Trail, which cut a switchback on the official trail, which you can actually see on his GPS track from the run. So the folks over at fastestknowntime.com dethroned him. The National Park Service issued a citation, and then the whole thing led to Sunseri being charged and convicted of a misdemeanor last week, by a federal judge. And they are still determining whether he's going to be, banned from Grand Teton National Park and or fined for his indiscretion. So One important thing to know here, actually, I'm going to give you a couple important things, but Sunseri actually tried to work it out with the park over this past year before the case ever went to trial. So he argued that the use trail he took is a popular one, and that there just wasn't proper signage at the top. So he's going top bottom at that, he's returning at this point, that indicated it was closed by the park, or that he shouldn't take it. The Park Service said otherwise. He also offered, essentially, he conspired himself to do self-ordered community service to help create new signage or, otherwise kind of make it right. And you should know the Park Service eventually backed down on wanting this guy to go to court in the first place. But the feds were apparently out for sweet, sweet trail runner blood.
But luckily, he doesn't have to go to jail.
Yeah, I mean, yes, thankfully, right?
There were some thoughts that he was going to have to go to jail for this.
I thought that was bananas.
Yeah.
So, I mean, okay, my feelings here, yes, switchbacks are really important trail building tools that exist for a reason. I am somebody who's done trail work and trail maintenance, and let me tell you, it is hard as shit to go out there. I was actually talking to Agnes Van Zun from Eastern Sierra Conservation Corps the other day and reminiscing about the first time I did trail work, and we got like a quarter mile done, and I was like, that's all?
Yeah, right.
It takes so damn long to build and maintain trails, guys.
Yes.
But okay, so switchbacks are important. Cutting them does cause erosion. It doesn't just make it difficult for hikers going through those sections, but also, and cyclists and others, but it also uproots plants and, kind of further disturbs the habitat for animals, insects, microorganisms, the whole shebang. So yeah, spend the extra 10 seconds it takes you to walk the switchback or roll the switchback or however you're getting around that switchback. And, think about how nice it is that you aren't an earthworm trying to avoid having your underground housing network constantly trampled by lazy humans. But also, I think this trial was a colossal waste of time and resources. Like, huge. I think the best possible outcome would have been having this guy, a sponsored athlete, can contribute to trail mitigation, trail work, education, since the park was apparently trying to let that use trail kind of go back to a natural state. And use this platform for good. Make it a teachable moment, not just this example of judicial overreach. I mean, do the feds really think that no one's going to cut a switchback ever again because Michelino Sunseri made an error in judgment and became a national spectacle? I guarantee you, most people who are out hiking, casual users, are not even paying attention to this news. So
right.
It's not happening. But I mean, at the end of the day, I am personally always on the side of education over punitive action whenever possible, just as a general rule in life. I'm a big believer in the idea of restorative justice, transformative justice. That is kind of this idea of both repairing harm, but also changing the circumstances that lead to it in the first place. And I just think that's so much more powerful than just straight up punishing people for their misdeeds. Plus, I honestly think we have much bigger fish to fry than some speed freak cutting a switchback. I don't know, Colin. What do you think?
I totally agree. I mean, I have to assume that it's because this was in a national park that it got so much attention, or that they decided to even pick this fight.
Yeah.
And it's on a high-use trail, and I don't know. I don't even know what you're preventing by even really going after this guy. But whatever. I agree in the kind of like you. I agree in the principle of it. Shouldn't be cutting switchbacks. You should run on the trail. It's kind of a bullshit move to be cutting switchbacks. But the way the guy handled it, I think to your point, there's an upside there. There's good PR to be had there. It's going to make him make a PSA that you put on YouTube. I mean, there's a lot of sense of humor.
The more you know. Switchbacks.
Yeah, the National Park Service has a great sense of humor if you follow them on Instagram.
Oh yeah,
have him out there with Smokey Bear, doing stuff. There's so many ways that this could have gone that have turned it into a positive. And he offered to do it. Is it he's a North Face athlete? Is that what it is?
Yeah, yeah. That's one of his main, probably his main sponsor,
right. You North Face wouldn't have just jumped on board and followed a bunch of mud and paid for the whole thing, and then also reaped the good PR that came with it.
Right.
I'm with you. The positive always wins. If he had been just a dick, if he'd been hey, fuck you, I'm going to cut, then whatever, then fine, prosecute the guy. But this is just a fail across the board. And part of me feels like, is this representative of our current presidential administration who just wants to go after everybody? But this was going on well before that happened.
Yep. Yeah.
So,
this is just a weird anomaly. I don't understand why, you can look at actually other FKTs on, and FKT attempts on the Teton, and you could see other people
Oh, he was
have
not the
used that
first.
same route. He was not the first.
Not the first. Just a big missed opportunity. Just a massive
Michelin note opportunity.
Yeah.
Sorry, buddy. Good luck to you. Hope this does not derail your future running delights. That's it for this episode of Gear Abby. Until next time, send us your burning questions, but not your burning chafe, about your relationships with outdoor people, products, places, and pastimes over at myrockfight@gmail.com, and I'm going to do my best to answer them or find someone else who will. Today's episode was produced by David Karstad and Colin True, art direction provided by Sarah Gensert, and I'm Shawnté Salabert, and remember, there are no dumb questions, just smart advice.